Have you ever been excited to deploy your application, only to be stopped in your tracks by an error message? It can be incredibly frustrating, especially when you're just starting out with YAML and Kubernetes. Today, we're going to tackle the error message that says, mapping values are not allowed in this context. I totally get it. YAML can be tricky, and Kubernetes adds another layer of complexity. You're not alone in feeling overwhelmed by these technologies. Many beginners face similar issues, and it's completely normal to run into errors like this. Let's dive into the specific situation. One user recently shared their experience with a deployment file named depprom.yml. They encountered an error when trying to execute the command kubefcreate depprom.yml. The error message pointed to line 47, which reads, node selector westporch kubeminion-1. Does this sound familiar? If so, let's figure this out together. So, what could be causing this error? In YAML, indentation is crucial. It defines the structure of your data. If there's a misalignment or an unexpected character, it can lead to errors like the one you're seeing. Let's break it down step by step. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a pro tip that will help you avoid these kinds of errors in the future. The first step to resolve the error is to check the indentation in the YAML file. YAML is very sensitive to spaces and tabs, so it's important to ensure that everything is aligned correctly. Next, the user should correct the syntax for the node selector. The current line is incorrectly formatted. It should be a key-value pair, with the key being node selector and the value being a map. After making these changes, the user should save the YAML file and try running the command again. This should resolve the mapping values error. If the user still encounters issues, they should validate the YAML file using an online YAML validator. This can help identify any remaining formatting problems. Fun fact, did you know that YAML stands for YAML Ain't Markup Language? It's a recursive acronym, and it emphasizes that YAML is meant for data serialization, not markup. Pretty interesting, right? Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user suggests that when using special characters like colons in YAML, you should wrap the entire line in single quotes. This helps the YAML parser interpret the text correctly as a string. They also provide an example from GitLab documentation showing how to properly format script commands that contain colons. If the command already uses single quotes, switch to double quotes. Let's check out another perspective from a different user. An alternative solution suggests that the error may be due to incorrect indentation in the YAML file. The user found that the line indicated by the error message was not the actual source of the problem. They compared their file with another project and used a validation tool to help identify and fix the issue. Let's take a look at another answer from another user. One user suggests that there are a couple of issues in the YAML file, which can be tricky to identify. They recommend using a tool called YAML lint to help pinpoint errors quickly, so you might not need to ask for help from others. That's all for that response. Let's see what someone else had to say. This user points out that the node selector should be defined as a map of key-value pairs. Instead of assigning a single value, you need to specify a key, like disk type, followed by its value, such as SSD. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. One user shared an alternative perspective on the error message. They mentioned that in their case, the issue arose from incorrect token substitution in a build pipeline. The value intended for the Docker image tag was read incorrectly, resulting in an empty string. This led to a YAML interpretation issue, where the empty string was seen as a key without a value, triggering the error message. So it's important to verify that all values are correctly set during substitution. Here's the pro tip I promised. Always use a YAML linter before deploying your files. This tool can catch indentation errors and formatting issues, saving you time and frustration. And there you have it. By checking your indentation and formatting, you should be able to resolve the error and successfully deploy your application. Remember, practice makes perfect. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and keep experimenting with Kubernetes.